All right, so it looks like we have a good amount of people on board, so I'm good to get started. So welcome everybody to Software Demo Days. My name is Cesar Castillo. I'm one of the co-PIs on this multi-lab project of PRIMRE that is bringing you Software Demo Days, which is, again, for those of you who don't know, PRIMRE is the portal and repository of information on marine renewable energy. And we're really excited to kick off Software Demo Days, which is a series of demos of software that is relevant to the marine energy industry. And also, we're very happy that everybody was able to make it, who's able to make it, because I know this series was scheduled and then rescheduled, but we're good. It's kicking off, and we're really excited about the demos that are going to happen over the coming weeks and months. So first, to kick things off, just a few introductions. In a little while, and shortly, you will hear from our DOE program manager, Swaras Ali. But I just want to make sure that we recognize some very important people who made Demo Days a success. First, we have the Demo Days facilitators, Kelly Rule, Megan Anderson, and Dominic DeCano. They were essential in organizing Software Demo Days and reaching out to all of you who are in the audience to making sure that you have access to it. And also, we've listed here the PRIMRE co-PIs. Again, I'm Cesar Castillo from Sandia. We will also hear from Jonathan Whiting from PNNL. John Weirs isn't here with us today, but he's from NREL and he's our lead PI. But we're just the PIs, and PRIMRE is actually a very large team of lots of data scientists, engineers, and researchers that make PRIMRE a success. And before I go any further, I'll pass it on to Swaras so he can discuss what his vision for Software Demo Days was, because he is the one who originally came up with the idea. So go ahead, Swara.
Thank you so much, Cesar, and thank you so much to everyone who's attending today, the first of our inaugural Software Demo Days. Like Cesar said, my name is Swara Saleh. I am the Marine Energy Data Analyst at WPTO. I oversee the PRIMRE team who has put this all together for us. But more specifically, I would like to thank my colleagues Elaine Buck and Bill McShane for initially proposing doing a demo event, initially a demo week, but eventually we came to the idea of doing demo days to increase variability and flexibility for people to attend. And I want to deeply, again, thank the PRIMRE team for putting this together, and everyone everyone in the PRIMRE team for organizing a series of events that we have now made, quote, demo days. So for years now, WPTO has funded various software in the marine energy field, primarily via the labs. And with this event, we'd like for the recipients of our funding to learn more directly from each other. From PRIMRE hosting our various open data to WECOP tool tracking wave energy patterns, open tidal farms simulating and optimizing tidal turbine farms, Moordyne finding points of connection on mooring lines, and so much more, WPTO has funded and our recipients have developed this variety of innovative software driving the marine energy industry forward. So in this series, we hope to increase awareness of these various software, demystify how they function, and ultimately foster cross-collaboration in marine energy software development. And, if this is a success, hopefully we'll have many more of these demo days going forward beyond the what we already have planned until, I believe, May at this point. So, yeah, just thank you all so much for coming on to our very first one.
Yes, thank you, Swara. And we're excited to be hosting this event and to learn more about all the interesting software that we will.
Oh no, I think Cesar froze.
Oh, he's moving on my end.
Okay. Are we good?
Okay, there we go. We're good.
All right. Yeah. Sorry, a little technical difficulties. But before I move on to the next slide, what we would like for everybody here to do, if you can, we would like to know more about who you are. So if possible, please drop your name, your email, and the org that you work for in the chat. Also, the software that you might be representing, because again, this whole series is to build on our relationships that we already have, and hopefully lead to more collaboration and integration of the various softwares that will be presented. So please, if you can, put your name and email and org in the chat. Okay. Just a quick agenda of what will be presented today. First, an overview of PRIMRE as to what it is and the motivation for how it came about to be. Then we will describe the vision associated with software demo days and the schedule that we intend to follow. This will be followed by an overview of CoCalc, which will be the software hosting platform that will be used by a lot of the demos so that we can follow along with the demo teams as they lead us through their tutorials that they put together for this series. And then finally, we will have a pretty decent amount of time for questions so that we can, any questions that the audience might have or just any discussions about demo days that we want to bring up. So again, we're the PRIMRE team, and we are, the acronym again is Portal and Repository of Information on Marine Renewable Energy. And it just largely serves as a central access point for data, information, resources, and any other relevant information that is important to the domestic and international marine energy industry. And largely speaking, what PRIMRE is, it's kind of sits in the middle of what we call knowledge hubs. And each knowledge hub is a collection of information that fits a particular theme. So it could be data, it could be documents, it could be code, and it can just be kind of just like wiki guidance pages. And so depending on what type of information it is, it lands in one of the knowledge hubs that you see here in our our diagram here. But PRIMRE is not just those knowledge hubs. PRIMRE also hosts a set of events calendar. So we have a long list of events that are relevant to marine energy. And we also have archived webinars that PRIMRE has participated in, but we also host a lot of webinars for different projects, and they are found there. We have educational resources that include Marine Energy Basics, which is kind of like a Marine Energy Basics 101. We also have STEM pages and job boards on there. But again, what PRIMRE is it sits in the middle of a lot of data, a lot of documents, useful tools, and software that the marine energy industry has put together or that the marine energy industry could find useful. And as I've said earlier, we've been funded by the Water Power Technology Office of the U.S. Department of Energy, and PRIMRE has been managed by 3 national labs that include, again, our Sandia National Laboratories, Pacific Northwest National Laboratories, and the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. I've already kind of talked about what knowledge hubs are, but again, they are a set of information around a specific type of theme as to the type of information that they are. Currently, we have 7 knowledge hubs. We don't have plans to add any other ones, but these 7 knowledge hubs tend to capture most of the information that we think is relevant for now. But to just provide a little bit of history of what each knowledge hub is. So the MHKDR and TETHIS were around before the PRIMRE project came about. But once the PRIMRE project came about, we developed other knowledge hubs pretty quickly thereafter. And as you go down in the arc, you see kind of the ages, the relative ages associated with each of the softwares. I won't go into describing what they are because the following slides will describe them. And then another very essential feature of PRIMRE is that it provides a one-stop search. So whenever you go to the main page of PRIMRE, there is a search, and there is where you can do just queries, and all the information within each of the knowledge hubs can be retrieved from there using our metadata schema that has all the information in data sets organized using that specific theme. So it's all within one unified system. And now I'm just going to talk a little bit more about some of the knowledge hubs that we have. First is Telesto. And what Telesto largely is a set of wiki-based guidance and databases that are relevant to the planning, testing, and measurement and data processing of marine energy devices. And that's kind of how Telesto is organized along what we call the development pathway. So what you see here, it's kind of information that's relevant to planning, to the designing and building of devices, to the testing, to the deployment, and to the decommissioning of devices. But we also have a lot of cross-cutting categories that include like lessons learned, performance metrics, economics, standards, and compliance, and those fit into each of these particular pathway locations. So that's why we find them as cross-cutting. And we present here just a use case of just how you can understand how the life cycle of a device can fit into a reasonable scope. Next, we have the marine energy software, and this is part of the reason why Software Demo Days was hosted by PRIMRE, because of this knowledge hub. And what you can be found within marine energy software is just a set of software that is relevant to marine energy, and it includes commercial and open access software. And the software that you find within it is actually collected and organized based on user needs and input. So a lot of work went into identifying what tools, software tools, and researchers use and companies use within the industry. And in FY24, a new version was launched, and you can see it here on the right, and it kind of shows how you can search for software, but it also kind of lists when there's been new releases of particular software. And for the software developers here that we have in the audience, this is a great place to go look for tools that are important for the technical calculations and modeling that you might be interested in doing. And a little bit more about marine energy software, just how it's organized. Once you get to the actual page where you can actually, where the software is cataloged, it's very similar to what you might find on the GitHub org page. So it shows the software, and a lot of facets as to help you find the software that you might care about. So it could be programming language, it could be the license, and it can also be just a lot of relevant information can be useful for understanding if the software is being maintained actively or not. Next, we have Marine Energy Atlas, which is a geographic information system that hosts resource characterization data, and that's what you see here on the right. So this is a lot of the wave generation potential, and it is open access data that can be used for a lot of the tools that we use. And it includes data layers on wave, tidal, river current, and ocean thermal resources. And this data is actually being updated regularly because these data sets have been updated recently. And just another use case is that you can use this data to do regional market and use case analysis. And for the next set of knowledge hubs, I will pass it off to Jonathan Whiting.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'll carry out through the last couple of knowledge hubs and then wrap some things up. So this here is the MHKDR, or Marine and Hydrokinetic Data Repository. It was originally built to host all the research and testing data collected by projects funded by the U.S. Department of Energy, but we've since expanded that scope to also include some key industry data sets and some international data as well. So it has about 300 data sets representing more than 2,000 individual data resources that accumulates at more than 30 terabytes of data. It's representing research, development, deployment, analysis efforts, and cumulatively across the whole site, it has over 100,000 downloads. A couple of use cases for MHKDR would be data retention and access, and also supporting some technical design decisions. So this is kind of our true main database. Zara, if you get the next slide, please. Next up, we have Tethys. This is at its core a documents library with over 10,000 documents on the environmental effects of wind and marine energy. It's the single knowledge hub that also includes some wind energy content. It is one of the oldest. It's been around since 2011, and as such, it has a lot of features that have been developed on it over the years. These include a Tethys Blast, which is a newsletter, goes out every other week, and it's to about 3,000 people in industry. It's offset with a PRIMRE Blast that goes off, that gets sent out kind of on the in-between weeks. So we encourage you to sign up to receive those if you don't already get them. There's also an events calendar on Tethys, and this actually is the source that pushes content out to PRIMRE, so you can find the same information whether you look on PRIMRE or Tethys as far as events go. It also has a bunch of archived webinars and some summaries and fact sheets. A lot of those are based on this idea that we have a lot of information in Tethys, documents and whatnot, and so we can create summaries that are more digestible to the public or certain stakeholders, and then we can support it with all the supporting documents. We also have a bunch of educational resources and some community pages for international collaborations, such as OES Environmental. Some use cases for Tethys include going here to check out the understanding of the state of the science, as well as informing environmental impact assessments. Next slide, please. Now, founded off of Tethys, we then designed a Tethys engineering website. Part of it was that people were like, oh, you have this great information for environmental. What about all the technical and engineering design? And rather than just expanding the scope of Tethys, that also included wind. Marine energy was really the driver to get over here into the engineering space. So we stood up a mirrored site. So it's structured identically to Tethys. So we even have some exchanges of information between the two sites. Currently we have over 8,500 documents in Tethys engineering, which includes got a little block there. Includes some technical design and deployment. One key feature of Tethys engineering that I want everyone to know about, because it's a great resource, is the photo library. We've basically reached out to developers around the world, and they've provided high resolution images of device deployments, and a lot of them are just beautiful. They've offered them free for third-party use with attribution, so you can grab them, put them in slides on posters, and just list the developer as attribution. So definitely check that out and use it. A use case for Tethys engineering might be to inform some device design and operation, looking at the best knowledge around the world. So next slide, please. Next up, we have the Marine Energy Projects database. This has over 1,000 international marine energy projects, test sites, devices, and organizations. It effectively shows you a historic record of past deployments, as well as you can get a good sense for what's in the water right now. It's kind of set up similar to Wikipedia. It has semantic relationships. You can bounce around between different organizations. You might look at a project and say, oh, who's the developer? You can go look at the developer, see what other projects they've done, or maybe see which devices they've created and where those devices have been deployed. So it's great for kind of intuitively exploring what's happening. We also have some nice, interesting charts that show trends for the marine energy industry. And this is also a unique one that anyone can log into OpenEI and actually add information. So in some cases, we've had developers go in and add their information directly. That being said, we do have a content team that's really active in curating this and really does all the heavy lifting for making sure that the content is up to date. The use case for projects database is to track the, devices and deployments around the world. Next slide, please. Now, all that brings us to kind of, Cesar alluded to this before, but PRIMRE's goal is to bring all of this knowledge into a single place so that people don't have to know which knowledge hub specifically to go for. And a big key part of this is our centralized search. One of the steps for creating this was to basically develop a common language for all those knowledge hubs to be able to talk to each other. So we created a metadata schema based on some DCAT standards and using established marine energy terms and taxonomies to describe the different content. So once we've established this language, that allows us to then talk back and forth between all the knowledge hubs. And so we can send that in through some APIs. We can grab that within PRIMRE, and that basically powers the centralized search. The exciting thing is we've also published this metadata standard and encouraged other international data owners to use it. And we've had a couple of international databases that have also created APIs using our schema. And so we have also been able to integrate their data into PRIMRE as well. So we're very excited about that and hope to see that expanded. And then, in more recent years, the big question is, well, how can you leverage AI more? And we were in a great place because we had all these APIs to be able to work off of. And so last year we launched what's called Ask PRIMRE. It's a research assistant, and so it's powered off of GPT and very similar to GPT, which hopefully everyone is using at this point, or some alternative. You can ask it some questions, and it will look just at our corpus of knowledge within PRIMRE to give you some really authoritative answers, because it's looking primarily at Tethys and Tethys engineering, where you're looking at publications, documents that are published in documents and technical reports. It's also looking at MHKDR and getting data sets and kind of the supporting documents around those. And so all that becomes a really authoritative set of documents, and it can answer some pretty good questions. I've been really impressed using it. Two nice features of that is that we've set it up to try not to hallucinate. So instead of making up answers, it should tell you if there is no answer to the question that you've asked. And then the other really nice feature is that it'll give you an answer, and then it gives you the top resources that were contributing to that answer. So it'll spit out an answer, and then 2 to 5 different resources within PRIMRE will get listed, and you can kind of dig a little bit more into how it got to that answer. So next slide, please. One of the things we really try to push within PRIMRE is the value of data sharing. To go with a little pithy comment here, we believe that a rising tide lifts all boats. And we truly do believe that we've seen a lot of cases where data access is contributing to the advancement of the scientific community and the industry at large. It's hard to put stuff into the water. It's corrosive. It's high energy. It's a newer industry, and we believe that there's learning to be done, and if we can all learn from each other, it'll advance a lot quicker. Helps us avoid duplication of effort. It helps us indicate where problems have been solved or not, so we can better focus research and development efforts to help advance the industry as a whole. And as an individual contributor of data, when you put information in a system like PRIMRE, it helps provide discoverability and increases the impact of your work. If you just do your work and no one can find it, what's the end value, right? Are you really, what's the impact? So we can improve the impact. It also gives an opportunity for you to be able to showcase the successes of your work, and establishes you as a point of contact for further questions and collaboration. So our goal is that helps kind of reward people when they do share and create new opportunities based off of that. So next slide, please. Now, we have seen a lot of barriers to data sharing as we kind of push this ideology. It's very easy to see the technical components up at the top, but things like data limits and storage costs and things like that, we've seen that financial, organizational, and cultural tend to be the bulk of the resistance to it, though. Next slide. And so as far as PRIMRE and kind of our approach to these challenges, at a technical level, we're trying to use all the best available technology. So a lot of our systems, particularly talking about MHKDR here, it's built in the cloud. It's very scalable in terms of the amount of storage we can support. It's pushing a lot of accessibility and different data access methods. Also pushing this concept of a data lake. So rather than having to download the data and process it on your computer, if you could just send the processing scripts up to the cloud and just analyze the data where it is, we try to push that concept more. At an organizational level, we try to create some standards around, all the data should be served with metadata to describe it, things along those lines. We do offer some data moratoriums if data for some reason or another needs to be withheld for a time, but people can still see that data exists and when that data will be available, so that we don't get into these situations where everyone looks around and wonders where the data has gone. And we try to push for more collaboration and enabling open science. From a financial side, DOE through PRIMRE covers the data storage and archival costs for all the data there and give free access to that big data in the cloud. We've also developed some data pipelines that standardize the format of the data. So for example, if you have 12 different hydrophone data sets, they're not all in different formats, and you have to do the work of trying to piece them all together so they look the same. The data pipelines will standardize them, so kind of helps with the data lake concept, being able to analyze everything together. At a cultural level, we do lots of trainings and webinars, and we hold an annual international data sharing workshop with other data owners around the world. And we like to share some of the cool data sharing success stories that we've seen over the years. Next slide, please. And so one of these success stories, and this is my last slide, and then we'll jump into the more software demo day stuff, is we've done a lot of support for Marine Energy Collegiate Competition over the years, or MECC. And usually we try to present to them every year and encourage them to kind of show them what's on PRIMRE, encourage them to use it more. There's a good case study back in 2021, Purdue University won, and they had some really nice things to say about how the tools and resources in PRIMRE were really critical to their success as they built a wave-powered desalination device. So just one example. It's cool to see it used and making an impact. We encourage you to check out PRIMRE if you've never been to it. If this is the first time you've heard about it, do explore it some, ask us some questions at the end of the webinar. Yeah, with that, let's get on with the show, more on the software demo day. So I'll pass it over to Megan. Sorry, if you want to go next slide. Megan will share a little bit more, or maybe Cesar will share a little bit more about the vision.
So yeah, thanks, Jonathan. Now that we know the value of data sharing, we're going to pivot a little bit to talk about software demo days, its vision, and how it's sort of part of the motivation. So reiterating a bit about what Swara said earlier, the primary objective of software demo days is to increase awareness and use of existing WPTO-funded software. And hopefully in the future, this can become an annual event where developers highlight new features and capabilities of their software. The primary audience is an internal audience made up of software developers from the labs in Mbari, but also open to DOE WPTO, marine energy staff, contractors, and academics supporting the labs. Just want to reiterate, this isn't fully open to the public, so these are kind of the ideal attendees of this series. And what does success look like for software demo days? The full completion of the series featuring WPTO software this fiscal year is our primary goal, and hopefully through this we can have some success stories of improved interoperability between software. Next slide, please. So here's the demo days demo days schedule. Obviously, we're in the PRIMRE Kickoff today, March 26th. The next demo is Wexim, and that will be held at noon Mountain Time on Thursday, April 10th. And we are trying to follow every other week cadence on Wednesdays. So the demos will start either at 11 a.m. Mountain Time or noon Mountain Time. Just, check your calendar, make sure you have the invites and are attending at the right time and the right days. So something to note here is that the first demo in green here is OpenFast, and then Moredyne, MHKit, and WECUP are also in green. That means that these demos will utilize the online tool CoCalc. And CoCalc was mentioned earlier, but it's basically a cloud-based collaborative software oriented towards research, teaching, and scientific publishing. And we're going to utilize it for these 4 software demos. Wexim, Mbari WEC, and obviously the PRIMRE finale will not utilize this. So we're going to talk a little bit about CoCalc in the next slide. So here we have a little video kind of showing what CoCalc is. This is the landing page. When you navigate to the top left where it says your projects, you will see, hopefully, once we add you to the project as a student, software demo days. In here is where all of the relevant course material will live for this demo days series. So say, for example, today we're doing the WECUP tool demo. I'm going to navigate to WECUP tool, open up the tutorial that the PIs tell us to open up. In this case, we're just doing the WaveBot tutorial. And I'm going to select the correct kernel for the software we're using. So it's a Python kernel for this WECUP tool case called WECUP tool environment. And from here, just like any other Jupyter notebook, you can run each cell. It's really nice using CoCalc as a platform for this series because it prevents everyone from having all the correct packages installed locally on their machines, and all the demos are already pre-made and everyone has access to these in their own student copies when the actual day of the demo comes. Next slide, please. So it looks like we have a little bit of time now. So while we're finishing up this presentation, I'm going to ask all of you who plan on attending the sessions that utilize CoCalc to go to cocalc.com and create either a personal or a professional CoCalc account. It doesn't necessarily matter. The only thing you need to send to us via chat or email Kelly later if you're not able to do it now, is just the email that you are associating with your account. From there, we can add you as students to the Demo Days project, and you'll be able to access the software course materials when Demo Days comes. So I just want to reiterate that when you get the email confirmation saying that you've been added to the Software Demo Days project, it might look a little different. As creators of the project, it shows as WPTO Software Demo Days on my end. But if you navigate to the Your Projects tab and see that it says your name - Software Demo Days, it's the same project. It's just going to have a little bit of a different title on your end with the student copy of the project, if that makes sense. One other thing to note is upon confirmation and navigating to the project and seeing you have access to it, you won't actually be able to open the project and run each of the course files like we just did in the example video until the actual demo day. So I think OpenFast is April 23rd. When the day comes, the licenses will become active, and that's when you can kind of run through and test, okay, like, is everything working on my end? Can I run this with the correct kernel? That kind of stuff. So nothing's wrong if you navigate to the project now and it says you're not able to see anything or run anything. That's totally normal. Just wait until the actual demo day comes. Next slide, please. So I know I just kind of threw a lot at you, and I just want to make it clear kind of what the expectations are pre-demo day and then on the actual demo day. So you should already have access to the series of events. Kelly emailed them out as meeting attachments in an email a while back. So just make sure you accept the meetings for the demo sessions you plan to attend. This is important on our end of things because it allows us to get a bit of a head count beforehand and ensure that we have the right number of student licenses before the actual day of the demos. And a colleague of ours had some issues copying the meetings to their calendar via these meeting attachments. So if you're having the same issue, say it might be saying that you don't have the right permissions to copy the meetings to your calendar, just make sure that you save the meeting attachment files. And then from the saved files, you should be able to copy the meetings to your invite or to your calendar that way and accept or decline whatever you have to do. Next, if you didn't already, make sure you have a CoCalc account made before the first demo that uses the account or uses CoCalc, and share your username with us so we can add you as a student to the project. And again, just confirm you have access to the project beforehand. And then on demo day, please make sure that you have good internet connection, a computer, and a working mic for the Q&A portion at the end. And on demo day is when you'll be able to test your CoCalc account, and you can kind of reproduce what I did on the previous slide, navigating to WetGov tool, running a tutorial with the kernel selected, and just going through the cells and making sure you're not getting any errors. And then once you've done that and you enter the meeting on demo day, please turn off your video and mic. We just want to give everyone a heads up that presentations will be recorded and transcribed, possibly posted online for the public in the future. So just make note of that. Next slide, please. So that's it. Thanks again for your time. We're really excited to get demo days started. Thank you to the PRIMRE PIs and the PRIMRE team.